So this is the cycle analyst. There's the current reading shunt. And the neat thing with this, I'm going to go through some of the features, but before I do, let me show you what was before that. It was the E-meter, and this was what came after the E-meter, which was the Lynx 10, and it had something where you could plug into your computer and data log it. It was also, the voltage only went up to 24 volts, so for electric cars we had a DC to DC converter, which gives us our isolation, so that it would be isolated from the high voltage, and we'd take and rig up some resistors to do a voltage divider and get our voltage lower. This guy here will actually show the whole voltage. As you see right now, I don't have any voltage going into them. There's our voltage wire. And see, when I just hold the wire and put it to ground, our voltage starts dropping. So we've got to come up with a little voltage divider across there. Anyway, so let me show you some of the neat features with this. You hit that button and hold it down. Oh, wrong button. You hit this button and hold it down. And then it enters into the setup. And these are all the things that we can do. This will actually be a speedometer. So I'm going to, darn, I left the setup. All right, so I go back to the setup. I'm just remembering how to do all this. And kilometers, and then I hold that down, and it will toggle back to miles per hour, which up. And then I hold that down, and I'll go on to the next screen. Oh, maybe I won't. Maybe I'll hold this one down and go on to the next screen. Up. How do I get to the next screen? There we go. And then you set the size of your wheel. And you can set all this stuff up, and you get your speedometer going. And then we got our amp limit. We got our low voltage limit. Main display, I'm going to have him display in amps instead of watts. And then we can go into the advanced setting. And when we get into here, I push down and hold that. Okay, now we're into and set the range. And we can set the range. Oh, I bet I got my range set wrong, because that's 0.1 amps. Darn. All right, we'll see. Averaging, I don't know what that is. This is our shunt. And you can adjust this, and you do that to get your calibration. And I'm putting in 2 amps, so I got it already calibrated. I did that before. Here is our volts to volts sense, and you can adjust your voltage through that somehow. What's displayed on the meter. Look at all these things. I don't even know what they all are. Somehow this could work your bicycle, the throttle. Yeah, so it was for a bicycle. We go all the way through there, and then we leave setup, and we're back where we were. And I may end up changing this down the road and get rid of the decimal, because the car is going to be pulling 400 amps possibly. And you see it bolted right onto your bicycle hub right there. So this was, we thought this was the greatest thing ever. The company, though, halfway, as my wife was saying, they got a little scared of electric car people, because they were normally just hooking these up to 48 volts, and electric car people were going up to 400 volts with them. But we were delighted. So this is my load, so I can set it. I take the load off, and we go to 0, and we see that the thing is only using 0.006 amps, 6 milliamps to run this thing. It's running on vapors, which is really neat. So I'm going to put this in the car just for nostalgia purposes. So I'm working on my 63 Ranchero, and my wife wanted to know what I'm doing, and I said I found one of the old cycle analyst meters. What do you remember about those meters, ma'am?
Oh, They were the latest and greatest, but they were not meant for electric cars. And the company contacted me and said, no, 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 don't use them, but we did, and they worked amazingly well. The next group came along, but for a long time, they worked wonderful.
They came after the e-meter.
Yes, yeah.
And the e-meter was how much?
$450.
And that was back in the 90s.
No, it was a 2007, 8, 9.
We had e-meters all the way up that late?
Yeah, yeah.
Huh. And the psychoanalyst came along and it was a better price.
8 or 9, and I think it was $200.
And it also displayed everything.
Yeah, yeah, it did.
It was very nice. So I happened to have found one of those. And I'm thinking about putting it in the truck. But I thought they were a lot older than that.
No, no, they weren't.